Hey everybody, welcome back to another video. My name is Pat with Like Attracts Like Evolution Mentorships, and I am so grateful that you are here with me today. Today, we're going to talk about something very important that actually could change everything once you actually become aware of how important it is. We only have a certain amount of energy each day that flows through us, a certain amount of attention that we can deliver to specific topics in our life. The first part of this game is realizing that we actually get to choose what we give our attention to. This could be very, very difficult for many of us for multiple reasons as we connect to a story that tells us that that's not possible, or that certain things we have no control over, that things are difficult, that things are hard, that you can't get this, you can't do that, stop being like this. What about this? Have you read this today? Have you seen this on the news? Like, there's just this collective narrative that represents most of the unconscious human being's perception of a reality that used to exist. So in order to evolve beyond the reality of what is, either individually in your own life or collectively as human beings in general, we have to be able to look at the story that is and then choose a narrative that is contrasting to that. We have to look at what is, understand that that was what it was created from previous human beings, and then we have to be the ones that allow the awareness from higher consciousness to step in and cause us to take different actions, inspired actions. There's one thing really preventing us or the majority of us from doing that, and that is us unconsciously giving our attention to the frequency of what is, or the frequency of fear. You will see the frequency of fear represented in infinite ways as you navigate the life that you live. You'll notice it in social media posts. You'll notice it in newspapers. You'll notice it on the news in general. You'll notice it in conversations as you go out and about during your day. It can be seen and heard and felt everywhere. And of course, there's evidence of those stories almost always all around you. So it can be difficult to break out of the matrix of that storyline and that, if you will, that frequency of consciousness. It exists at a frequency of fear. So it can be difficult with the ego attaching to that story with so much evidence to actually shift to a story that contains less of that, or begins to transmute that energy into a way that becomes more productive. The number one way to do this is to realize what you give your attention to. And if you are finding yourself giving your attention to the newspapers and the news, and find yourself getting caught up in all the gossip and all the stories, now there's no right or wrong to this, but it does have a reaction. It does have a result in the world. There was a time where all I could do was go out and, read the newspaper and see what was happening next, or what happened in this state 50 million light years away from where I am. Who got killed there? Who got murdered? What's the new seat? Like, I couldn't get enough of it. But that's because I was operating inside of that frequency. You'll find that as you continue to shift and do your best to find that self-love contained inside of you, as you find that creative spark inside of you and begin to shift past limiting belief systems, you'll have much less of an appetite for those things. And sometimes it just takes this little trigger of awareness to say, like, yeah, I get that. That paper that they've put out, I walked into the gas station every day and there's a new tragedy, there's a new trauma, there's a new spectacular event. Now, that doesn't mean that they didn't happen. It doesn't mean that. What it means is that if you give your attention to that, it absolutely will affect your day emotionally. And you also have to think about why. Why would someone want to continue? Why would there be a system or a pendulum, if you will, as Vadim Zeland's book, Reality Transurfing, talks about? Why would there be this constant barrage of content directly designed to piss you off and upset you and create a fear state? Why would that exist? What would the benefit of that existing in the world be? What would the benefit of every single program that's related to media, basically, or news, literally downloading and projecting at you everything that should scare you and make you upset and piss you up? What, like, is there a life where you're not inside of that reality, where you can, like, not look at that and not watch TV all night and be consumed by it? Think about how valuable your attention is. And if you're choosing, like I did for a very long time, to give your attention to that, then that means that that attention and energy can't be used positively in your life to create or do something. Now, I am a huge advocate for saying things like, it's not just positive thinking that's going to change your life, but it's where it starts. And we can't typically allow the frequency of higher thought or higher consciousness in when we are being consumed and giving our attention to, by choice, these things that are designed to keep us in the fear state. They are designed. And if you don't think they're designed, you have to ask yourself, do you really believe that these systems that have been in place that could put anything that they want to on these pages or on these stories or in these narratives, do you think that these are maybe designed to keep people locked into them for a certain specific reason that could maybe benefit them and not benefit the person watching? Like 100% these things are designed to do that. There is a belief system that will say that if you start to pull away from news and broadcasts and media and people with an agenda, that you won't be informed. I promise you, you'll be informed. If something is meant to find you, it will find you. Someone will say something, but it doesn't mean that you have to give your attention to it or go out of your way to find it. When I stopped putting my attention on these things, and it was not easy for me, I will tell you, it was very difficult for me to pull away from watching certain TV programs that I really enjoyed, because I didn't really enjoy them. I really didn't enjoy it. It was just locking my attention span and energy onto these things and affecting me emotionally. And then I would go out through my day, and isn't it crazy that all of a sudden that's all I would see is more of it? All I would see is more of it. And if you're familiar with any of the Law of Hypnotic Rhythm episodes that I've done or videos that I've done, 100% your brain is designed to go out of its way impartially to bring to your attention that which you are telling it to. And you tell it to bring things to your attention based on what you give your attention to. So if you are sitting in a place where you are consuming negativity and allowing it to not bounce off of you, but flow through you and then affect you emotionally, and then you are projecting that energy back out to other people and continuing the narrative, and then complaining that you're not getting certain results in your life, or that this keeps happening to you, or you keep noticing this, this is hard to hear because it was really hard for me to hear. There is a direct connection to that. There's a direct connection to giving your attention to things that don't serve you and that you don't like, to keep you in a zombie-like state of unconsciousness so you don't grow and expand to your highest potential, and then also complaining that you're not growing and expanding to your highest potential. For me, and then people that I am fortunate enough to work with from all over, that is the key. It's realizing that we're giving our attention to things that don't serve us, and we have to fill that space with things that we want to serve us because we believe we're valuable and worth it, because we believe that life is valuable and worth it. Much of this narrative, this fear-based narrative, is showing you that they don't think that life, or that your life and your ability to do what you want to do because you want to do it and enjoy it and it comes from your heart and soul. This is not the narrative that is projected in mainstream anything, really. So when you can break free from that narrative, and if you find yourself patterning like, oh, I gotta stop, or walking by the newspaper and be like, oh my God, I can't believe that happened. Like, it's the same every day. It's the same. They're going out of their way to put the same in different pages right up front when you walk in everywhere, so that when you see it, you can be like, whoop, what is the benefit of that? There is no benefit of that. There is no benefit of that. And if everyone broke free from it, even for the littlest while, you would see much less of that content pool being able to be pulled from. And yes, I know your ego and brain and mind might be like, that's impossible. The world's shit. No, it's not. You read that in a newspaper. Think about what affects your life from the point when you wake up to the point where you go to bed. How bad is your life? Be honest. How bad is your life? Maybe you're like, it's terrible. How much worse is it when you go in and read about other people's terrible lives? It's not going to allow you to find the frequency where a new perspective can be found in the life that you think is. So you're not going to be able to change it unless you actually focus on what you give your attention to. And then ask yourself why. That will help you heal the reasons that you are pulled to it. And then after that healing process, you'll be able to break free from it and actually live in a world where these things, they don't affect you. And your ego and mind might be like, well, that's irresponsible. It's not irresponsible. The most responsible thing you could do is get to a frequency of love and connection with yourself where none of these things affect you, so that you can affect change on them from the inside out. You cannot affect change at the same frequency of that which upsets you. I'm going to say that again because it really did help me. You can't affect change acting and responding at the same frequency at the thing that offended you. You can't. It has to be transmuted. It has to be shifted. It has to be moved beyond. There has to be a perspective found from the unwanted, meaning we understand it. We have chosen to no longer give our attention to it. We chose to embody the contrasting agent of that and then act and be that in the world, because you wouldn't know that you were the light if you didn't walk into a dark closet. So some people in this part of the process just want it to be sunshine and rainbows. It is not. And your higher self, the calling that is pulling you forward, could never want that. It would be my ego that wants that doesn't want to work or take inspired action or anything, just wants it handed to me. You wouldn't know that you're the thing that you want to be if you didn't walk through the valley of everything that was not what you are. How would you know the difference? So this is really, really important. It's something that helped me tremendously. And if you can understand the power of your attention and your intention and focus on things without doubt that you want to focus on outside of that frequency of fear that is projected onto you from every place in that dimension, you will find that profound changes can be had. And that is what I wish for each and every single one of you. If you are looking to shift beyond anything in your life, if you're looking to find perspective or heal, find peace, passion, purpose, anything at all, the 2022 6-week one-on-one mentorship with me is open, and there is a link wherever you are listening or watching this. So you can click on that link, quick application, and we can set up a clarity call and see if we are a match to work together one-on-one. Until next time, have an amazing day, a wonderful night, and I'll see you then.